Hey everyone, on this Warikoo, what are the mistakes that I made in my 30s? So this is an extension of the mistakes that I made in 20s, which was received very well. And then I put out the mistakes that I made in my 30s, and that too has been received very well. What I wanted to do was convert it into a video format, and that's what we're doing. Let's start. Number one, I hired people with strong pedigree and great brands on their resume, ignoring how they operated as people because I assumed that their degrees will drive their success. And this was just such a blunder because I thought, oh, if you've been to the IITs, the IIMs, you're a rock star. And if you've done well in your education and you have great brands on you, you're kick ass and your resume speaks for you. And that's what will drive you and your success. So you'll make a great manager and so on. But this is a lesson that I learned. As you grow professionally, it is not what you know, instead, how you deal with people that determines your success. Next, I told myself that relationships can wait, that call to my parents can wait, saying I love you to my wife and kids can wait, spending time with them without my phone can wait. I told myself, I don't have the time for this. I'm making my career. All of this can wait. My career is the most important thing. And I don't need to tell you that that's a mistake. If you are like that, you will recognize it very soon that that is a mistake. If you're not like that, congratulations. You're already ahead of the curve. I just realized that time is the only thing that matters. Everything else can wait, but time is the only thing that can't. And every single day that I choose to spend on things that I think are more important to me, but not spend it on things that are truly important, I am wasting a day and I'm never going to get it back. And it doesn't matter how much money I have at that point of time or anything else, nothing can get me my time back. Nothing. I managed everyone the same way, which was my way. I managed the way that was easy for me, convenient for me, scalable for me. I was like, you know what? This is who I am as a manager. So everyone will be managed the same way. And that's a mistake because everyone's motivation is different. Everyone's purpose is different. Everyone's need to be led, to be managed is different. And this has been a hard lesson that if there's anything that shouldn't scale as you scale an organization, your team, your company, it is leadership. By definition, as you grow, it should get harder and harder for you to manage people because at the end of it, it's people. We are unpredictable. We are emotional, irrational individuals. And that means every one of us will behave differently to different situations, to different circumstances. And if we are to treat everyone the same way, that just makes us into a bad manager. I felt having a second child would be a disaster. We had one, and we were very happy. And it'd been 6 years. And we were like, no, you know what? Having a second child would be a disaster. It would make me feel even more guilt for not being present as a father to our first child and our son. And that's a mistake because now that we have our second child and she's 3 years old, I recognize this beautiful thing which happens between siblings. And I had forgotten all about my relationship with my siblings because it was maybe something that was way too back. And looking at them, I realized that at the end of it, when you have no one, you still have your siblings. You still have someone that you can call your own, and that's the gift that you can give as a parent to them without them ever asking for it. I still remember once our first child's name is Vidur, and we asked him, what's the best gift that we've given you? And we were expecting something which was material. And he said that the best gift you've given me is Uzma, who is our daughter. I put all my savings into illiquid assets, real estate, startups. And when we went through a financial turmoil, we lived like urban poors. We literally had to sell jewelry as early as 2018 to make ends meet because all my money was parked in things that couldn't make me money when I needed it. Real estate, startups. I put all my life savings into Nearby itself and in other startups as an investor. And the biggest learning was it's very easy to cut a check. It's very easy to buy, to become an angel investor, to do all of that. But only when you get money back is when you call that into an investment. Else, it is just something that you did for the heck of it. I assumed everyone's definition of success and everyone's motivation for success is the same. And that's the definition that I had, which is of glory, of respect, of inspiring others. And I felt that everyone should have that same thing. You are a loser if you're driven by financial needs. You're a loser if you're driven by promotions. You're a loser if you're driven by just work. And I realized that's a mistake because everyone has a different definition of success. Everyone has a different definition of success. And only if your work sets people up for success, your work sets people up for success, is when you will be successful for your own self. After the birth of our first child, I felt that I lost my partner to my son's mother. I felt that I lost my best friend, and she was no longer my wife, my partner, my friend. She was our son's mother. And I missed my friend. I missed my confidant. I just felt that I will never get her back. And that's when I realized that parenting is not just the mom. It's the father as well. And if we were to equally contribute to this process and this art of parenting, we will never miss each other. We will never find this partnership broken. I felt bad once all the awards stopped coming my way after I started Nearby. When I was running Groupon, I was 40 under 40 and I was getting this award and that award and blah, blah, blah. And honestly, I had a very cushy job at Groupon. I had a very, very comfortable job. And when I started Nearby was the toughest phase of my life. It's when I worked the hardest, and that's when all the awards stopped coming. They didn't come my way, and that's when I realized the awards were never for me. The awards were never for me. It was for the positions that I held. And the day that those positions went away, the awards went away. I felt VCs were in the business of building businesses together with their founders. And our interests are always aligned. But it's now that I realize that VCs are not in the business of building businesses. They are in the business of entering and exiting businesses. And that does mean that at times the conflicts will not align. And that could be a really hot time for both the investor and the entrepreneur. I was convinced that I would do well financially. I was convinced that I would make money if I became an entrepreneur. I was convinced that I would be worth millions and I will raise a lot of money and will just rake in the money and so on and so forth. But today I realize that if your goal to start up is to make money, then that's the worst possible idea. Because it's far, far likelier that you will make money being an employee and rising up the professional ladder than for you to start up and have your own business and make money through that. I assume people will be okay if we leave them off and find them another job. And I assume that this is a business need, so they will understand. And I'm getting them a job, right? So what is so hard about it? But today I realize that a layoff is never about the job. It's about the self-respect. It's about the respect that the individual loses in their own eyes because they've been laid off. I maxed my credit cards, borrowed money from my friends, delayed on my parents, on my payments, so that I could maintain the lifestyle that I had. And I felt that lowering down on the lifestyle was a failure. That was the worst thing ever because you are coming down from where you already were. And today I realize that treating our lifestyle standards as a measure of success is the actual failure. I thought no one wants to be led. I thought that everyone wants to do their own thing. You hire smart people, you put them in an organization, and they just don't want to be led. But that's not true. It's not. 99% of us want to be led. They want to be led. We want to be told, where are we headed? What do we need to do? We don't want to be managed, but we want to be led. And that was a big mistake on my part. I allowed my irrational optimism about the future to take over the need to be thoughtful and to be analytical about my decisions. I was like, you know what? It's okay. We don't have to stress too much about this. Things will be fine. Things will be okay. things work out, everything will be okay, and that's it. Let's not spend too much time on this. And I was wrong, because hope is not a strategy. Hope is not a strategy. In my 20s, I dropped out of my PhD, finished my MBA, worked in consulting, earned a lot, started up with some success, had founder conflicts, and I had to leave. And at 29, I was jobless. I had no money, I had no plans, and I had no visibility. And I made a lot of mistakes, which I shared in the previous video. In my 30s, I started 2 businesses, raised money, laid off people, made absolutely no money for myself and my investors, made poor people decisions, wasn't a good father. And at 39, I am again jobless. I have no money, at least not liquid, and I have to ensure that my monthly recurring income is fulfilled by things that I have to just crave for and hunt for and survive. I have no plans, I have no visibility of what I will be doing, but I wouldn't have it any other way. I wouldn't have it any other way. I'm just so fortunate that in my 30s, I made so many blunders that I stand here today as a wise individual, having learned from these mistakes because I reflected upon them. I saw what I did wrong. I saw how it impacted people and my own self. And I know that all these mistakes have shaped me up in very meaningful ways. I'm not proud of making them, but I'm insanely, immensely grateful that I made them. Because if it wasn't for them, I'd be somewhere else. Definitely not where I am today. And through these mistakes, I wanted you to recognize that you too will make some. You too will go on to make blunders that you thought at that point of time were the right decisions to make. And the day you recognize that they were not, I wish and hope that you reflect upon them, because that's when you recognize how a mistake turns into a failure. Until next week, signing off from this beautiful natural setting, goodbye and stay safe.
Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel so that whenever we put up a new video, you're aware of it.